Okay.
All right, so we're live. I'm American Grayson. When this is Pure Politics, we're joined by Lauren Witzke. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, Grayson, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so I'm actually a huge fan of yours. Full disclosure, I love watching your tweets before you got banned. I love watching you on True News, your interviews. You're a very intelligent and strong woman.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I love the fight. I love being involved in the fight. And, conservative podcasts like yours and shows like yours, this is how we win. Building our own networks, our own sources of information. This is how we win. So I commend what you're doing in your work as well. I'm happy to be a part of it and support it.
Thank you. Yeah, we got attacked by CNN a couple months
Did you
ago.
really?
Yeah, we
Well,
had
that's how
the
you know you're over the target.
yeah we had the RNC chairman on, and they were not happy about that.
Well, hey, that's good stuff.
But talking about, I think this is a good segue into tech censorship because I was reading a little bit about your bio online. There's not big announcements when people get banned from Twitter. So when I was reading about your thing, because you've been banned from pretty much every social media, is that right?
So I was banned from Twitter. I was temporarily suspended from Facebook. They got rid of my campaign pages. What they basically did is they shadow banned everything. They just left it on, but it's like unviewed. Like you can't like find me anywhere. So, but I was banned from Twitter. So, oh, and my Google account and my bank account, and I'm also put on a domestic terrorist watch list. So if I try to fly, I have to have a Homeland Security escort. So there's other ways to oppress me, and they've sure taken advantage of that.
So this all began when you started your Senate run?
Yes. So I never had any issues with this, but I also, I worked for Trump's campaign. I was more of like a normie conservative, but I found it very interesting is that people like Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, that are considered conservative or right wing, they never have to go through the same things that we go through. And I was trying to figure out, I was like, what's the difference between me and Charlie Kirk? We both were avid Donald Trump supporters. We both, were avid about getting the young conservatives, America First conservatives involved in politics. Well, here's the difference. I'm not controlled opposition. I say what I mean what I say. And I'm really passionate about issues that people don't like, they consider it taboo to talk about, like restoring the American nuclear family. Since when was it controversial to talk about building a wall, deporting all the illegal aliens, and restoring families and making it easier for Americans to get married and have children? Apparently, that's a controversial topic now that I'm not allowed to talk about, as well as issues of pro-life. A lot of people just give lip service to these issues that are supposed to matter to the Republican Party. I think it's specifically targeted to people that are outspoken about their beliefs, but hold true to their beliefs. Don't compromise, don't cave. I regret nothing. I was banned from Twitter for calling out a pedophile. So there's this dude in a dress, and chest hair and stuff is so disgusting. And he was talking about how little girls, if they're assaulted in the bathroom, or these transgender bathrooms, that little girls aren't as innocent as you would imagine, that they're actually kinky and they're asking for it. I reshared it, called it demonic, immediately got banned for hate speech on Twitter. So yeah, it's
Wow,
definitely targeted against normal people.
that's disgusting, actually.
Yeah. Twitter changed their terms of service in 2019 to accommodate pedophilia. They call them minor attracted individuals. If you are a
So
pro-family.
in a way, we're like I've already said this on previous programs. We're fighting against demonisms, satanic
Yes.
influences, because this doesn't sound like a political issue to me. This sounds like right and wrong. This isn't about blue and red.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, it's definitely a spiritual battle as well. And you have to understand that the demonic can recognize a threat. The demonic can recognize somebody that they're like, oh, this person is going to be a problem. So they align things in a certain way and they influence people, your enemies in the natural, to act against you and do things to you to try and stop you, whether it's your messaging, or maybe you're a prayer warrior, or maybe you're a service person who does, good acts of service that change the world. Demonic can recognize that. So it is certainly a spiritual battle as well. And your enemy hates you once you dead and once you silent. So once you consider that, and when you had mentioned before that you got hit by CNN, that's how when the biggest, they're hitting you're just an ordinary person just trying to share the truth and get, your voice out there. But when it's a threat, when it threatens what when you give a perspective of something where they're like, oh, this is going to be a problem, they immediately go to cancel you. They immediately go to destroy your life. So yes, it certainly is a battle in the natural that we're experiencing now, but it's also a spiritual battle as well.
Yeah, very well put. You were talking about the family, and your campaign slogan was "Restore the Family." Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it seems like in America and pretty much the Western world, there is this coordinated effort to destroy the nuclear family, to get rid of mothers and fathers, and then have children mostly reliant on the propaganda of the state. It's really odd as an American to see this happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I ran on restoring the American nuclear family, which also was considered controversial. I didn't know. I actually based my platform off of Hungary. With their family plan, what they had done was they were experiencing a drop in birth rates. They had the option to either mass migrate third world people into their country to replace the Hungarians, or they could restore the Hungary's nuclear families. So what they did was they made it as easy as possible for families, young families, to get married and have children. They gave out unsubsidized loans. The more children you have, the less you had to pay back. If you had 3 children or more, you didn't have to pay back the loan at all. They would give you a minivan. They'd help you buy land. And I believe within 3 years, their birth rates went up 10%, but their marriage rates also went up 100%. So people do indeed respond to incentives. The issue in America is we are incentivizing the wrong thing. We are incentivizing the breakdown of the nuclear family. Since we know for a fact that it's just human nature to respond to incentives, if you're paying somebody to not get married, or if you're threatening to take away their health care if they choose to get married, people are not going to get married. As a result, the United States has become a global leader in single parenthood. We have a mass welfare system. We have a fatherless generation that's growing up. And that's directly related to drug abuse, sex abuse, crime, mental illness. There's so many issues that come with fatherlessness. So if we want to restore America, which the foundation of America is the American strong nuclear family, we have to restore our families first.
100%. Do you see an exodus of strong men in American society in a way? I talked with Marjorie Taylor Greene at CPAC in Florida, and she said that we need more men in Congress. And I always thought that it was interesting that she made that statement focused on gender. So what do you see about masculinity in America? Is it leaving? Is it coming back?
Well, there are people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and I who shouldn't have to be involved in politics. However, men have fallen short. I will say, however, and it's been millennial men. That's the issue. Millennial, Gen Z, even the boomer dads, like the older ones, like they have all kind of just been like, oh, well, we're just going to let this happen because things aren't that bad, my liberty and all that. And they've left a disaster for the young Zoomers. What I'm seeing with the young Zoomers is there is a masculine generation coming up, a very bold, a very Christian, a very no BS generation rising up. So I think that masculinity is making a comeback, and I think it's a good thing. I've watched what has happened with women in charge. I've watched what's happened with feminism. Even for example, today, Amy Coney Barrett was complaining about how she was whining about how the Supreme Court has become too partisan and political, and everybody's attacking me. Listen, you have one of the highest honors in the United States of America. If you have a problem, if you can't do the job that we're asking you to do, which is to interpret the United States Constitution, let's replace you with someone who can, like a strong Christian male. I'm all for, I'm a huge supporter of toxic masculinity to a degree. I think it's a good thing. I think we need more of it, and I hope to see more of it.
That's great. I'm going to mix it up a bit because I know your time is short, and I wanted to ask about immigration. What are your stances on immigration? Because pretty much everybody's on board with stopping the flow of illegal aliens, at least on the conservative side. But it seems like the bigger problem is legal immigration. And I saw that yourself and now Paul Gosar have both called for a 10-year moratorium on all immigration.
Yeah, so I ran on that actually last year for U.S. Senate. I ended up winning my primary on that. Immigration moratorium. At first, people were like, oh, no, we like legal immigration. However, people didn't realize that legal immigration was setting us up yet again, another failed generation. People, young students, college students graduating from school, having to compete against cheap Indian labor, H-1B workers who will work for half as much for twice as long. Why would any American corporate institution want to hire a full, a white Christian male who expects $30 an hour for his work, as opposed, or when they could just hire an H-1B visa worker for $10 an hour and he'll stay 12 hours a day. So it was rigging the system. The legal immigration system is rigging the system against, Americans, whether you're black, white, whatever, it doesn't matter. Cheap foreign labor will undercut your wages. So it was more so about wages, American workers, putting them first, but also it's an electoral strategy as well. Demographic replacement is a real issue that's happening in the United States of America. 8 out of 10 migrants, doesn't matter where they're from, they vote Democrat. And this is just the reality of it. I'm sick and tired of losing. I saw where we were going. And if we kept up at the rates we were going, actually, we're back at them. We're back at open borders, looking at blanket amnesty. But it's all an electoral strategy as well to outvote the Christian vote, because they vote Democrat. They vote for the handout every single time. You can't change that. The Republican Party invests billions of dollars in trying to get the minority vote. However, these people will never vote for us. So let's stop that flow of immigration. Let's put American workers first, American college students first, and conservative voters first, because our votes matter. And I'm sick and tired of having my vote canceled by some person from Somalia who decided to come over here and, just completely disrespect my flag. They've been radicalized into hating the American people. It's also that as well. Like, they're propagandized. They come here not to be a part of what makes America great. They come here for economic reasons, and then they're taught to hate America. And it's just a really unhealthy system. I think we need a 10-year hold on all immigration, at least, until we can build an immigration system that does work. If we even should open our borders up at all in the future. It's getting to a point now where society, the American society, our social fabric is deteriorating. And I think that's become very obvious.
Very true. I like that you pointed out, like, Somalis are coming in, they're waving their flag, and all these new immigrants are talking trash about America and Americans. Yes. And going to the Million MAGA marches, I made the observation that a lot of people, they're very upset with the immigration issue, but a lot of people are very happy when they see immigrants waving American flags, saying they love this country. And it seems like if we had the same issues, right? We have the same issues going on right now, but all these people were very patriotic and nationalistic. I think that the tone would be a lot different for what's going on.
Yeah, but also, there is a minority. There's probably 20% of them that do come in, love America, will vote according to the fact that they love America, not just for economic reasons and the handout. They vote because, or they want to participate, they start a business. There is that 20% that do that. And you will find them in the Republican Party. But the fact of the matter is, statistically speaking, that other 80% cancels them out. So I am thrilled when I see immigrants that come here and are proud and grateful to be here. However, it seems to be the exception. Like, it never, I don't see it that often. I see more children of migrants, second generation migrants, who are more so like that. And hopefully that trend continues as the left seems to go more far left. But I'm just speaking electorally. 80% of them do vote for the handout every time. But, it is good to see ones like that do come here that are grateful to be here and happy to be a part of this country and participate.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, everybody who's watching, Lauren only has 15 minutes. So we're going to touch on one of the last subjects, which I think is the biggest one, is that of censorship and being banned from things, and then having to create our own paratechnology, our own para services, stuff like that. So you being placed on, it's not the no-fly list. You're placed on a special security check.
Yeah, it's
right?
The secondary selective security something. I don't know. It's the 4S list. So basically, essentially, what happens is I have to be escorted by the Department of Homeland Security to get on my plane. I have to be swabbed for explosives. They always sit me next to an air marshal. They like try to act like they aren't, but I know what they are. And yeah, it's like, oh, you're not slick. But anyway, so, and then it's not just that though. On my connecting flights, I have to go through TSA all over again. I have to be escorted by Homeland Security. And then they're also waiting for me at my flight to swab me for explosives again, just in case I like somehow picked up. So I'm on some kind of domestic terrorist watch list. Actually, Michelle Malkin filed a FOIA request, and they approved it. So we should hopefully know soon what happened to Nicholas Fuentes, what was discussed, why we were put on the no-fly list, as well as myself.
100%. That seems to be the biggest, most important topic outside of the vaccines is people being politically persecuted and banned from services. Going forward, do you think it would be viable to come up with something like, say, our own airline, a conservative airline, where we bypass the TSA because it's a private company, you know, we do whatever we want. And we could cater to conservatives who are being punished for their political beliefs? Is that viable?
So yeah, absolutely. You can never imagine that I believe we're going to have our own banks. We're going to have our own schools. We're going to have our own communities. Andrew Torba is a champion in this. He saw this coming years ago. He built a real free speech platform. Now he's building a payment processor, a TV service, as well as other services to help us build a parallel society as well. I think I'm going to shift my focus to helping build Christian schools. That is what I want to do because we have to build our own school system is how this is going to work. And then there's people like you trying to create your own media, you know, that it is possible to create exclusively conservative society. You know, they have discriminated against us. Don't let them try to come in either, you know, when we have to set up our own parallel society because we were rejected from theirs. You know, so yeah, I could see that happening. We'd need a billionaire to do it. To open our own airlines. And I hope it's possible, but with the right person, it certainly is.
I like that response. That's something I've been thinking about pursuing is some of these para-services. Because it seems like more and more people, regular people, because I'm not famous, I'm not like a big person. I appreciate you coming on my channel. But people at my level are ending up being shut out of a lot of these services too. It's not just you, it's not just Nick Fuentes.
Right.
It's just regular average people now.
Yep, absolutely. You know, even if they see that you're purchasing things, they're watching everything too. That's serious issue. You know, say you purchase coffee from that Coffee, you know, website, you know, they are watching that and they keep track of that. They're shutting down PayPal accounts. They're shutting down conservative YouTubers. I saw like a couple, you know, small time YouTubers or streamers like Baked Alaska are getting kicked off. You know, so it's happening to everybody. You don't have to be a big name to have your life ruined. You know, how many people has this happened to that have no voice at all, that don't even have a streaming service? How many people has this happened to that we don't know about? So yeah, it's very common. It's very dangerous. And it's scary to see that society has come this far that our government can just take things away with no way for us to even offer a defense for it.
So, final question, how do we fix this? What does the future look like? I mean, what should we be doing to get things done? And no Charlie Kirk level answers allowed.
Okay. So, networking is huge. I want to encourage, you know, the people that are listening, you as well, keep the phone numbers of everybody that you meet. Start networking with like-minded individuals and start building coalitions. That is how we win. Also, you know, to a degree, local elections are still intact, you know, school board, etc. You know, infiltrate your own party, infiltrate your own local Republican Party, because then you know, you can toe the line until you get in a position of power. And eventually you will be the one choosing the candidates. You will be the one choosing where their money is being spent. So you kind of work your way up. Infiltrate, work your way up. Build coalitions, network with good people, save every number and contact you have, and don't be afraid to use your contacts and your friendships to build something better.
It's a great response. All right, so anything you want to say before you go?
I just want to encourage you, viewers, to keep fighting. I know things look really dark. this Biden administration is really bad. I never could imagine it would have been this bad. I mean, we're only 8 months in. However, we are 8 months in. Hopefully, if we don't get thrown in the Kamala gulags, we'll come out of this even stronger. There's the saying that hard times create strong men, and that's what we're walking through right now. And I want to encourage your viewers, to not be disheartened, keep fighting, don't give up. Because when we give up, that's when they have succeeded in demoralizing us and destroying all hope. That's when we really, truly lose. So I don't want us to get to that point. So I want to encourage your viewers to keep fighting.
Yeah, stand up, fight for America, fight for freedom. So yes. The chat's going crazy with the question we talked about before we went live, and Lauren has promised to come on again and talk about it in the future when it all gets resolved.
Well, if you'll let me check my phone for my boss, I can answer some questions as long as they're not out of control. Okay, hold on.
So yeah, let's check the chat real quick.
Okay.
Oh, we got Zoomer Sean. That's cool. I like that guy.
Okay. All right. You got 5 minutes.
All right. So I can ask you something about True News?
No.
All right.
Nice try, though.
That's what everybody's talking about in the chat, and that's what I was saying. You promised you're going to come back on in the future, and we're going to talk about that subject.
I will give everybody an update. I am not putting out a statement yet, because I'm just not. But I will, and I promise I will come back on your show, and I will make sure that your people are the first ones to know what is going on. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on, Lauren.
Of course.